Hello and welcome back to Grow Roots. This is Shannon and this is my September 2024 front yard garden tour. Hey everyone, goodness gracious, I feel like it's been so long. I haven't posted in a while. There's been so much going on and the weather's been super hot until this last week, and then the weather got really nice and the garden started looking a lot better. However, I got pretty sick and I'm just kind of getting over it. I feel so much better, but I may not sound exactly the same because, well, like I have gunk still and my ears are still kind of clogged, but that's how it goes when our kids go back to school, right? Like all of the sickness begins. And so anyway, thank you for joining me today and let me show you what is going on in the garden in this first week of September. So I'm going to start off right up here in front. Here's my little garden goose. We call her Silly Goose. But this is probably the best looking aspect of the yard right now, in my opinion. This is September, and so we had a really hot month of August. We had a pretty decent month in July, and actually we got quite a bit of rain for July. But the month of August was absolutely completely bone dry, and it was super hot. I think most of the month was 100 degrees or above, and I did do a little bit of garden cleanup yesterday, I will admit, but there's just a lot of things that got fried and just not looking the best. And then, lo and behold, this past week, we got 2 days of solid rain. Like, it was light rain, but it literally did last for 2 full days. And so everything's kind of like, and then this morning, y'all, the temperature was 67 degrees. It's the first time it's hit the 60s, I think, since spring. And so it's feeling lovely. It's a lovely breeze, and today's high is only supposed to be 83 degrees. So for the meantime, for the next couple days, it's going to be very nice, and I'm so appreciating it, and I think the garden is too. So let me start off. Goodness, it's really hard. I'll cover this in my container garden tour, but I just wanted to show you my very last Supertunia to survive. It is Supertunia bubblegum, of course. And if you notice, it's actually kind of green, and it's definitely not as full of blooms as it would be. I chopped this off probably in mid-August, and then all of that new growth you see is probably the most blooms that you can see on it. But I have to tell you one little secret. Do you know what made my bubblegum bounce back? It was actually banana peel water. I started saving my banana peels, 2 banana peels per 1 gallon of water, let that soak for 24 hours, and I poured it on my Supertunias and other annuals and things, and they just totally bounced back. And especially like the foliage, instead of being like this brown color that you kind of see over there that I still got going on, it turned this lush green. So a little secret that I'll be using from now on for my Supertunias. But coming over here, this is my sunshine ligustrum hedge. You can kind of see it. I've got this limelight hydrangea standard in front of it, so it's kind of hard to see it. But the limelight or the sunshine ligustrum is doing amazing. This is not the time of year to prune these back, but yesterday I came in and kind of just took care of some of it because it was growing way over the Supertunias. It was growing way over the welcome sign. Those back there were super tall up to that Vitex tree. So I just kind of came in. I didn't do it with my actual clippers, hedge clippers. I did it with some pruning shears, and it was actually pretty quick. And kind of still gives it that woolly look, which I do like, and it's not a great time to prune them back really hard anyway right now. So anyway, it's looking good. And then I wanted to show you this, and again, I'll cover this in my container garden tour, but it's also part of my front garden, so how could I not cover this? But this is my limelight hydrangea, and I have trained it into a standard. It's been really difficult to keep that thing straight up. You can see I have like 3 different stakes there that it's tied to. But it's, it, for the most part, is going straight up, and it did really good this year. It bloomed later than usual, and also we had that cool weather up until August. And so up until August, these blooms were so beautiful and white, and it just was absolutely gorgeous. And it wasn't flopping until we got this 2 days of rain. Obviously, we didn't have rain for like a long time, 30 to 40 days at least. And so this thing didn't flop at all. But with the 2 days of rain that we received last week, it's flopping, and it's still kind of drying out. Yeah, it's dry. It's just they're kind of still flopping. So, oh, there's a lizard over there. Do you see our little anole? Hi, buddy. One thing I was a little concerned with about, I moved this. It used to be over here, and it was just getting way too big for that area. We couldn't walk up our stairs anymore, so I moved it here just last month. And with last month being the absolute hottest month that we've had, I worried about it because this is full sun. I'm doing an experiment with panicle hydrangeas. I know that they say they need full sun, and everybody says they need full sun. However, Texas sun is quite different, and our heat is just unrelentless, and it doesn't cool off at night. It's like 83 degrees as our low in the month of July and August usually, and so these things can fry, and I have witnessed it in many times, especially last summer. But so you do need to be careful with the panicle hydrangeas, but this one in full sun in August did really well. Honestly, I've got some burning, and I honestly pruned a few of them off. The older blooms did fry completely, so I pruned them off yesterday, but they are doing well. And then I just wanted to point out underneath, I do have another Supertunia. That's lovey-dovey. It's not loving life, but it's still alive. And so I wanted to point that out, as well as a lovely little grasshopper that my friend Stacy gave me. And I planted some lemon balsedum in there as well. That's doing pretty good. So right here underneath this pot, I do have lemon balsedum that's down there that is not loving life right now. I have, this is May-night salvia. I think I have one bloom going on right now. This is not its normal bloom time. And then just showing you all being super real with the 2 days of rain. You see what that did to the undercarriage of the May-night salvia? A whole bunch of it was right here, and yesterday in my garden cleanup I kind of took care of that. But just showing you all, things might look nice on top, but underneath they need to be cleaned up sometimes. See? So I do still need to go in there and get a majority of that. Kind of being covered up right now, this is Superbina Sparkling Amethyst, and it's, you know, I have a lot of snails right here. I really do need to put down some snail bait. So that's probably what you see in a lot of these. But I've got one bloom here. One was under here. It's got a couple of blooms. I've got dianthus that's here that's still kind of blooming, which is amazing in the heat. But they're pretty well shaded under there. And then right here, I have a row of Dusty Miller that I planted last October. So I now have almost a full year of these Dusty Miller in the ground. Oh, I missed some grass yesterday. Oh, goodness. Anyway, it's been in the ground for a full year, and I really think it adds just this beautiful color and texture. The only problem is I did not plant them far enough back, and I feel like I'd love to have one row of annuals like seasonally right here, and I'm just not really able to get that without the annuals pushing themselves into the grass area. And so, I mean, I'm undecided what to do. I want to keep the Dusty Miller, but I don't love them in this location. And like this one did die off. That's okay. And I think I had one die off right there. But overall, they have done amazing. Honestly, they look like this almost all season long. They're just fantastic. For us, they are perennial. And so in winter, they still can look amazing. So moving on to what you see right over here. Okay, so at the beginning of the season, if you remember, I had Supertunia Jazzberry and a beautiful purple verbena that was planted here in the front. And the super petunias, one by one, just sudden plant death in the month of July. And then the super benas were just not looking very good either. So I pulled those out, and I had grown these zinnias from seed. I'll tell you what kind in just a sec. I got this vinca plant from Callaway's, and I got a couple other vinca plants that I planted over here and in this corner from a different nursery. And those vinca just did not ever take. They did not survive at all. Despite being watered in like really, really well. I just don't know what's going on with that front border right now. And then these are more zinnia seedlings, and they are just not doing well. But the Vitex tree is like creeping in this way, and so these are like more shaded than I think they want to be. Either that or there is something going on over there that nothing can grow. I don't know. We're gonna need to figure that out. But right here is absolutely beautiful. So these are the Dreamland Mix zinnias from Park Seed, and they are supposed to be super, super, super like compact. They haven't been super compact for me. No zinnias ever are. I still have yet to find a zinnia from seed that is like super, super tiny. But look, they are beautiful. They are compact, more compact than my other zinnias. But the flower heads are just as big as any other zinnia that you could imagine. And so they're gorgeous, like double flower heads. Really, really beautiful. Those are the yellow ones. This one's a little spent. I probably could get that and save that seed. Look at the orange color on this one. Oh my goodness. It's just like, this one was so beautiful too. It's starting to get a little bit aged, but it's yellow with like red tips, or orange with red tips. More oranges there, hot pinks, and then this vinca that did really, really well is doing awesome there too. And then mixed in with the Dusty Miller, and then I've got May Night Salvia that's blooming back there. Really, really, really pretty mix right here. So yeah, I'm loving that. Right back here, I have, let's see, there is a daylily there. There's another May Night Salvia here. And then in this back row is a Salvia Greggy, and it's a like red / pink variety. I will say, probably in August, this guy was just not, it was not flowering anymore. It was getting a little bit like leggy and a little bit droopy. So not sure I'm loving this plant, but now that it is getting cooler, it is re-blooming, and it's on its way to blooming even more. And so I love it so, so much. So yeah, in the fall, this will be just a spectacular pop of like this reddish pinkish color. And then I have one more on this side of the bird bath as well. So I do love them. We'll see. I want to give them another season in the ground and decide if I want to keep them. I think I've mentioned to you before, I don't absolutely love the flowers that they create, and I'm not like super, super loving the plant. So I may take them out and put something else in its place, but haven't decided yet. Back behind there is another daylily. It's a red one, and it's coming back into bloom. Look at all those blooms it's going to give me. And they're red and yellow, which is perfect for fall. So that's really awesome. This daylily was a little bit later blooming. I would say like late spring is when it started blooming, as opposed to this daylily, which is a peach color, is very much like an early spring through early summer bloomer, and then it's done. So it's nice to have a variety in there. And then coming on to this side, this lovely plant that I have cut back right here is balloon flower, and it's starting to flower again for me too. This is crazy. I grew this from seed last summer, Baker's Creek heirloom seeds, and I believe it's like their Fuji Blue is what it's called. But look at it. It's just, these guys got all the way as tall as my bird bath, which is about 3 feet tall. And I cut these way back when they were done flowering. But imagine all of these stalks right here full of purple blooms, and that's what it was. And it's just an amazing plant. I just absolutely love it. It is perennial for us, and I love that mix now that the salvia is blooming behind that and that's starting to bloom. Ooh, that is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so coming over here, this whole area, you can see it's basically ground cover, and that was absolutely my goal. So this space underneath this Vitex tree, and before the Vitex tree was there, a crepe myrtle was there, and that got taken down because it got just overtaken by the crepe myrtle bark scale. I could not defeat it. So that got taken out. I actually still have sprouts of it coming up every once in a while, but not too bad. And then the Vitex tree went in, but this space has always been a more like definitely a shaded space. And I couldn't get anything really to grow under there except this amazing hydrangea, which I will get to in just a moment. But this has always just been dirt. And just last year, I planted some ground cover. I'll get around there for you, but this is a juga. And then this back here that you see all around, this is variegated vinca major. And I just love it. In really one growing season, it kind of filled in. This is the second growing season, and it's really filled in. But it's just absolutely amazing. I still have a little swoosh of May Night Salvia there, but it is not blooming. It's probably not getting enough sun right there. This used to be like from my lamb over this way, used to be, you know, pretty much full sun, but that Vitex tree is really kind of taking over, and I need to really prune it hard. And then there also is a dianthus plant that is planted down there, so we'll see how that, oh, you know what, there's another salvia, and again, it's too much shade. This is a salvia hot trumpet. I am not loving that plant, so yeah, we're just leaving that for now. But again, you know, Dusty Miller's under there. And then here is the Vitex tree, also known as Chase tree, Texas lilac, a lot of different nicknames, but it's in its third set of blooms right now. With the cooler weather, it decided to bloom a third time. You can see all of the spent blooms that it's too tall now for me to deadhead those. I did deadhead last year because it wasn't too tall, but oh my goodness, it's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna be pruning off this branch right here that causes a little too much shade, and I'm just gonna keep this one probably, or there's a few of them over there, but if they go straight up this way, they're okay. But if they're going this way, they're gonna get pruned in late winter, early spring next year. So coming down, this is Burgundy Glow Ajuga, and again, variegated vinca major. I just love this look down here. It's unbelievable, so pretty. And then there is my beautiful endless summer hydrangea, and it's starting to turn pink. Here we go. I've told y'all that if you leave your hydrangea blooms on, and as long as they don't get fried, which admittedly, look, some of my hydrangea blooms did get fried. I went in again summer cleanup yesterday, September cleanup, and I did deadhead a lot of them that looked this brown crispy color. Once they get that brown crispy color, they're not going to be turning magenta. But if we can just keep these blooms, they will in fact turn magenta in the fall and the winter, and they're on their way to doing that. They're a cute little pink green color right now, so I'm gonna keep those on. Look at that one, that's so cute down there. It's a little bit fried, but the part that's not fried is so pretty in the pink color. So yeah, this endless summer hydrangea is huge. It's, let's see, there we go. It's probably 4 feet plus tall, and you can see endless summer, right? Here's a new bloom on it. It blooms all season long, so it's awesome. You really can grow macrophylla hydrangeas here, mop head hydrangeas here. They just need to be grown in the right space. And this one is obviously shaded for pretty much the entire day. It gets dappled sun, like right now that part's getting a little bit of dappled sun through the tree. And honestly, the reason that I got some blooms that fried a little bit is the hot afternoon sun, like 5 p.m. comes in from over here as the sun's going down, and so maybe 6 p.m. 7 p.m. so this does get a little bit of that like hot afternoon, like evening sun, and so some of the blooms did fry, but the plant itself is pretty much okay. So and I just love the variegated Vinca major that's underneath it, sunshine ligustrum over there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. One more shot of just this front area garden, and there is something that I have not mentioned yet, and it's this area over here and my vines. Oh my goodness, it has, so I had this vision. This is the year of the vines for me. I planted vines everywhere, y'all, in the front, in the backyard, everywhere. And I really wanted to see what was going to work and what was not going to work. And so I've learned a lot, and I love that I have done garden tours every month, because now I can learn from any mistakes and try new things and know what works and all of the things. So honestly, believe it or not, these are the same vines planted. So there's 2 different vines, and one of them is Black-Eyed Susan, and I only have a couple of them blooming right now. Here's one right there. That is so pretty. Let's see if I had a couple of Black-Eyed Susans that were trying to poke through right here a couple days ago, but they only last a few days, the blooms do. So I don't see them, but they were poking through right there at that location a couple days ago. The Black-Eyed Susan vines, they have been the most vigorous for me in this location. Actually, this was the one that was doing the best early on in the season, and this is planted in a container, and I'll show you where. So the Black-Eyed Susan ones were the ones that took off first, became the most prolific, and they're mostly the ones that you see up here. The other vine that's there is Morning Glory, and the Morning Glory vines were not as prolific, but they have been the best bloomers for me. So the Black-Eyed Susan vine, I've just gotten little tiny sporadic blooms. Like I've probably gotten less than 20 blooms from the Black-Eyed Susan vine, and there's 2 of them so far this year. However, the Morning Glories are Blue Pickety Morning Glories, and if you check out my August garden tour, I think that's the one, I had Blue Pickety Morning Glories blooming all up here. And now I'm starting to see there is a vine up here, a Blue Pickety that's starting to bloom on me there as well. I don't know if you can see that lovely blue bloom, but, and there's a couple of them up there. But yes, my Blue Pickety Morning Glories have been my absolute best bloomers, especially this vine. And I've been able to collect the seeds from them and all of the things, and it's been great. But this is really what my vision was. It's come to life, maybe not exactly how I wanted it. I found that in August, the potted vines just started to die off in that heat. And it wasn't that I was watering them every day. That container was pretty moist all the time, and maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know. I also got a little bit of problems with mealybugs in that container, but they didn't affect the vines. But the vines did appear to start dying off, so not really sure. I'm just sharing my experience with y'all. But wow, I do love this look. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, especially on this side. These are planted in the ground versus in the container, so you can kind of see, for me, how things go when they're planted in the ground versus you know, when they're going through something like a heat wave. You know, they can really succumb to a heat wave a lot easier in a container as opposed to planted in the ground. Moving along to this area of my garden, I absolutely love the way that it looks right now. Again, it was not completely my vision. If you were with me in the spring, then you know that this 3-tier planter was planted with completely different plantings, all except that bottom. I had Superbina Peachy Keen, which I still have down here. I decided to, it didn't really matter as much to me what was going on down here, so I kept the 2 Superbina Peachy Keens that I have planted in here, and you can see they are starting to bloom again. There's been a lot of time where they just weren't blooming at all. It's just, I don't know, they just really struggled. And then I had those planted up here as well, but again, like, they died up here for sure. And then this middle one had Supertunia persimmon, which I absolutely love, and it looked amazing until mid-July, and then sun and plant death, just like all the other Supertunias do for us. So I planted Vinca in here instead, and it's doing better. Interestingly, these are actually taking off now. I had Bidens that were free to me, that were pretty much dead, that I planted here, that look like they're coming back. And then I also planted some Tradescantia zebrina to try to fill in some holes there. But it's looking pretty good. I don't want to miss what's planted down here, which is a variegated liriope. And they are starting to bloom for me. They bloom late summer into fall, and I've just got little blooms everywhere. This guy is growing wild. It's a type of Tradescantia. I forget what the name of it is, but it has really pretty blue blooms, so I've left it in here because I really like them. I think they're so pretty. I don't want them to take over. I don't allow them to take over, but I allow a little bit of it so I can enjoy their blooms. And then, yeah, here's the liriope is starting to bloom these cute little purple blooms. I love the look of the liriope down here. They got a little crispy. This is our first year in the ground, but I anticipate future summers they'll be a lot better, and they do like some shade, so this might be a little more sun than they enjoy as well. But and there's more blooms right there mixing in with the Supertuna Peachy Keen. That's so pretty. So, and I also have Confederate Star Jasmine that was planted there last year, but as you can see, the Black-Eyed Susan Vine and the Morning Glory way outperform Confederate Star Jasmine. So, yeah, they'll be annuals though. My husband keeps asking me, those are going to die around Christmas time, right? Because he has a huge thing with Christmas lights. And so I'm like, yes, they'll be gone. They'll be gone by the time it's Christmas. Up here, literally, y'all, I just have annuals that are still in their pots that I was afraid to actually plant because it was so hot. But this is Blue Days of Volvulus, and I've got it starting to bloom. It would not bloom for me in the heat. This has been here like all of August, and it's starting to put on some blooms for me now, and so I'm really excited about that. These are pentas that were blooming just a few days ago and are currently spent, but I'll bet they'll start blooming again now that it's a little cooler. And then this is a mystery plant, y'all. I think it's a type of euphorbia. It was not in a proven winners container, but it kind of looks like diamond frost euphorbia, except these leaves are so interesting. Let me show you. They're almost a burgundy color for the new growth. And then, yeah, they turn like this pinky color with older growth. But I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. And they're just kind of thrown in there really, like I didn't want to stress them out by planting them. So there they are. And then I have a row of boxwoods that are planted right there and just doing really good. I really want to prune them, but this really is not a good time to prune them back because what it does is it encourages the new growth, especially with the cooler temperatures in the fall. And then all of that new growth is going to get frostbitten when we get our frost mid-November through, the winter time. So I'm holding off on pruning these guys until late winter, early spring, and then I want to form them all into little spheres or cone shapes. We'll see. But these are winter gems if I remember correctly. So I usually save now my porch things. Look at this little lizard. I usually cover now all of my containers and things on the porch for my container garden tour, so I won't go in depth, but I just wanted to show you I got this plant stand, and I'm gonna fight with my shadow. I hope you guys can see it. I got this plant stand for $50. Not the plants, okay? The plants are mine. However, this plant stand is absolutely gorgeous. And I have had my eye on one like this for a long time, and it was only $50. A lady in our neighborhood kind of is getting out of gardening and wanted to get rid of this, and sold it to me for $50. But I saw a similar one on Facebook Marketplace, and it was $250. So, and it is a little bit rusted, but I kind of like that look, especially against, you know, for fall and against the look of the color of the house. I think it's awesome. And then I've just taken some plants from inside and brought them out, but also I have some hydrangeas that I've propagated. This is Mexican heather that was kind of out there. I had some vinca that I hadn't potted up yet, and so I placed them there. So I'm super happy to have that in addition on the front porch, but I'll also show you really quick. I kind of decorated just a little bit for fall so far. This is a pillowcase that I crocheted actually a couple years ago. I used to have a crochet business. I don't do it anymore, but I kind of got back into it to make some holiday, sorry about the shadows, some holiday kind of pillowcases and things like that. And I love that pumpkin one. And it has like these little tassels. It's so, so cute. And then I got this at Hobby Lobby. And I picked up a cute little wreath to go over the existing one that I had. I've always had that welcome one, but I got a cute little sunflower wreath over that at Hobby Lobby, as well as this cute little sign, "'Tis the season to be thankful." But one more thing to show y'all. Again, I'll do these on the container garden tour, but I feel like they are part of the front garden too. So, and the grass. So, again, the grass my husband takes care of. He does an amazing job. Palisades zoysia is the grass that we have, and as long as it gets enough water and the heat that we have, it does fantastic. As a matter of fact, it's so funny. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to do a shout out to our neighbors. Our neighbors have the same grass, Palisades zoysia, and then the neighbors next door to them actually have the same grass as well. So we are super thrilled that 3 houses in a row have the most amazing grass probably in all of our city, or at least we feel like. I really do feel like Palisades zoysia is the way to go in our area. Again, it just needs enough water through the heat, and it needs to be well maintained, but as long as it is well maintained, it does really, really, really well. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then here are my curbside containers. I'm not going to go into huge detail other than to show you, like, this is just the most rock star plant ever. It is Mystic Spire's Blue Salvia, and if you are looking for a pollinator plant, this is your go-to. If you are looking for a plant that is going to flower from spring until fall, this is your plant. If you are looking for a heat-tolerant, drought-tolerant plant for Texas, this is your plant. I mean, I don't know what more one could want from a plant, to be quite honest. And this should be a perennial for us. It should survive down to, I think, zone 8A, and we are zone 8A/8B. So it is in a container, though. I am going to try and protect it because it is in a container. It makes it colder for those roots. But I am really, really hoping this plant comes back. They are just the most awesome plants. Really, you just can't go wrong with, I think, if it gets full sun. It needs full sun, let me tell you that. But they're just absolutely beautiful there at our curb. So there you go. that concludes the September 2024 front garden tour for Grow Roots. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that all of you are getting out into the garden and enjoying the cooler air that most of us are receiving at this time of year. I just can't wait for fall, but at the same time, I love this time of year because I'm still able to enjoy my annuals and the beautiful color that they bring as well. So I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.